right now, if the World Cup was being hosted next month or whatever, they would clean it.
Imagine if you were in charge of the World Cup here in Australia in 2027, you'd be getting everything in order and be caring a lot more than Joe Smith might be.
It doesn't feel that long ago that you put on 36 unanswered against the Box at Ellis Park. What the hell has happened since then? DSPN is brought to you by Novus Glass, proud partner of the Special Olympics New Zealand. The Special Olympics New Zealand National Summer Games is in Christchurch, Otautahi, this December. Across New Zealand, Aotearoa athletes, clubs, volunteers and families are getting ready, training, supporting each other and celebrating as the flame of hope travels down the country. Text Novus to 3598 to support our athletes. That's Novus, Novus, to 3598 to support our incredible athletes at the Special Olympics in Christchurch, Otautahi this December. Notice it, Novus it.
Welcome to the DSPN.
Team New Zealand's in trouble.
Oh, he's done it again, Ricky Herbert.
The Devlin Sports Podcast Network.
DSPN, Martin, Devlin, Lachlan Ward. Just before we introduce our very special weekly guest, Greg Marto Martin, former Wallaby fullback, Triple M breakfast host out of Brisbane. We have a new subscription model, people. Of course, you can still subscribe on the DSPN YouTube channel. We love you for that. We're 18,500 subscribers. This is the one where we get grubby and we ask you for cash. We ask you to support us financially. Plus, not the symbol, the word plus.rover.nz. You can either hook that or text DSPN to 3598 and you get a link, a couple of bucks a week, keeps us in business and you get a whole lot of extra content every Friday. At the moment, you're free to air and you'll continue to be free to air on this podcast, my friend Greg.
Wonderful. I don't even know what you're talking about there, but are you short on money?
Always need cash, mate. Always need cash. I'm like your children. Always need cash every day. And when you're on the building site with your son and you're working on your daughter's house, whoever goes to get lunch, there's always a look towards dad, isn't there?
No, we get the apprentice to go and get it, and I hand him cash, and rarely do I get any change, and that's how an apprentice can supplement their income. And anyone who's listening to this who works in a job where you can get cash, it's the most wonderful thing to hide from your wife until she finds out where it is, and then there's trouble. And hold on, I thought there was $2,000 here. Oh, no,
just right.
Anyway, colourful, clever accounting can always make it. Is cash a thing still in New Zealand, or are they trying to wipe it out?
They're trying to wipe it out altogether. Look, just a small, interesting life anecdote. Being in the States a couple of months ago, just stopping, and we spent a week there on the way back. We're almost a cashless society now in New Zealand, and when you travel the rest of the world, you just assume that every other country is, but they are so far behind in America. You have to pay cash. So many places you would go to, even restaurants, they won't accept a card, they won't accept your phone, they won't accept it. You've actually got to find a money machine somewhere to pay.
Oh my God, this is great. I'm moving to America. Mate, the number of times you speak at things now and you always expect a little envelope at the end full of cash. Oh, have you got your bank account details? No, I do not want money going into my bank account so the government can see what I do on a Friday afternoon.
There you go.
I want cash so nobody knows what I do on a Friday afternoon or evening.
Now, before talking to us, you had Paul Kelly on the phone. Now, for those who don't know who Paul Kelly is, shame on you. He is one of Australia's greatest folk rock singers. He is, I think, the voice of Australia for a couple of generations. The man can just...
He's our storyteller, Marty.
There you go.
He is Australia's storyteller.
Yeah. He can put words together. He's just such a beautiful lyricist. And I'll tell you one little story about him. And this is when I first moved to Auckland back in the beginning of 1987. And we were going to see him at the Glue Pot, a pub which was shut down on a Saturday night. And I was just in a mate's backyard, and we're having a few beers that afternoon. And there was a guy over in the corner, completely dressed in black. He always dresses in black. He had a baseball cap and sunglasses on. Oh, that's my mate Paul over there. I said, "G'day, Paul. How are you, mate?" Didn't think anything of it. 2 or 3 years later, shit, that's him. That was the guy in the backyard. That's him up on stage there, mate. He was just so unassuming, you know?
It is a song, I don't know if you know it, How to Make Gravy. It's about him being in... they made a movie out of the one song. It wasn't a great movie, only last year. December 21, Australia goes crazy over that. If any Kiwis have never heard it, it's amazing. He's in jail. and his boy and his brother's trying to crack onto his wife. Oh, and they are going, oh, how do you make the gravy for the Christmas lunch again? Oh, it's amazing. And what about, have you ever heard his song about Bradnam?
Yeah, I love that. I love that. You know, that tells the story of that time in Australia, and you know, just the sweetness sound of the bat. Yeah, honestly, I adore that. All right, let's talk about your Wallabies to start with, mate, because
let's talk about poor Kelly.
It doesn't feel that long ago that you put on 36 unanswered against the Box at Ellis Park. What the hell has happened since then? Because after watching that, and I only watched the highlights versus Italy, but I watched the game against England, I think you're going backwards. I really do. I hate to say it.
Oh, God, you're right. You're exactly right. We win one test, we could have won two against the Lions, and then that game against South Africa in Johannesburg, we thought we were on the right path, and I said it to you at the time. I don't really want to talk about it because, yes, we've got injuries. Will Skelton, our second rower, who went back to France and they haven't released him, and now he's got an injury, so he won't even play against Ireland and France. Without him, we can't throw our weight together up front. We get bounced around, and that's what's been happening. And therefore, when you get bounced around, you give away penalties because you're desperate. And then when you give away penalties, you get behind on the scoreboard, you get more desperate. And we gave away so many penalties. We got knocked around at the breakdown. Will Skelton, that is one of our big problems. There's one, and I keep telling you, we ain't got a 5'8". I know we tried another one on the weekend. We really, since Stephen Larkham, that's 25, 23 years ago, since Stephen Larkham, we've not had a 5'8". So, there's the problem with Australian rugby. We've probably got enough bit players. We don't have enough players, full stop. Rugby league's probably, I keep saying it,
yeah, you do.
All our great athletes. In New Zealand, your best athletes go to rugby union. Your inferior ones go to rugby league. In Australia, our best body contact athletes go to rugby league. Our second best, if you can't quite make it, you go to rugby union, and that's where we're at.
Hey, now I'm going to say something that you should be saying, but you're probably not allowed to say it, but I'm going to say it. Australian rugby, sort your shite out in terms of the coach. If Les Kiss is the coach, make him the bloody coach. The more I think about this, it is ridiculous that he's coaching a Super Rugby side next year. Listen, you got 14 or 15 tests. You've got one job, mate. Either choose to be the Australian coach or skedaddle it and let somebody else do it. But this idea that he's going to coach the Reds, and you're meant to be preparing a national team. I don't get this. You can't have two bites, two salaries, two cakes, mate. Make a decision and then Joe Schmidt needs to get gone now. This is part of your problem.
That's right. This team's got nothing to do with him. Therefore, he hasn't got any authority. It's come apart at the seams. It looks like nobody cares enough, and some players are only putting in half an hour worth of performance. I've got Les Kiss at a lunch next Friday, so I'll get back to you maybe next week or the week after and tell you what he said, because I am going to hit him with a few questions, mate, because it's become ridiculous. Why have they? I don't understand. I didn't realise you guys knew about this story, but it's because we want to hang on to Joe Smith, because we respect him. But the thing is, you think if you know you're out the door, you don't really care. A, he's not from Australia, and that reduces your care factor a little bit, but he's a professional. But B, I'm leaving next year. I know there's a home World Cup for Australia, but I don't give a crap because I won't be in charge. So but imagine if you were in charge at the World Cup here in Australia in 2027, you'd be getting everything in order and be caring a lot more than Joe Smith might be.
Yeah, I also, as far as Les Kiss goes, dude, I just don't get where your head's at. Coach, if you're the coach, become the coach today and start being the coach today. I mean, how can you coach?
Hey, I haven't done any digging, Marty. I'll get it for you for next week, my appearance next week.
Okay.
Why they did it, because I didn't pay much attention. I just went, oh, that's good, because there was no one really. There was no heir apparent to Les Kiss at the Reds, which is why I said, I'll stay on for another year and then I'll do the Wallabies straight away after that. I'd rather he was there on that tour right now finding out what makes all these players tick, because there's problems in the Wallabies. We were trying to get to number 6 in the world, so we didn't have to play another big seed at the World Cup. But right now, I think we're in 8th and we're heading down to 9th or 10th.
Okay, here's part number 2 to this. If you want another coach of the Reds, there's a guy called Ewan McKenzie, nickname Link. Now, you played with this bloke, damn good coach.
Love him.
He got railroaded out of Australian rugby because whether he had some relationship with I don't know all the details of it, but that guy was a really good coach and a really good brain, and he seems to have been lost to Australian rugby. Get him back.
Oh, yeah, he was a town player. After we finished playing rugby, of course, we weren't getting paid. Link went and became a town planner. He's back doing that. Like, why would one of Australia's greatest rugby brains, and he was a beautiful, he's a beautiful guy.
Massive man.
He got to completely offended. I don't want to mention Curtly Beale's name, but that's who did him in, right? And then there was player power, and next thing you know, Link's not in rugby anymore, and he walked away from. I was there on the sideline that night when I watched him walk down the tunnel at Suncorp Stadium, bloody 400 metres behind me here. He walked down, and that was the end over some rubbish claim because Curtly Beale was trying to dig himself out of personal problem. He's throwing him under the bus, throwing Link under the bus. Anyway, disgusting because he truly was a good coach.
Who are you backing, us versus England? You've got to be on our side this weekend, don't you? The Poms are Twickenham. Come on. Yeah. All right.
I love you guys. Yeah. We hate England. They're the ones who try to turn us into a criminal a colony full of criminals. I hate England.
They did a pretty good job.
And I love you guys. I love you guys. You'll win that. England are starting to look good, though.
Yeah, they are. They are. We've got this one problem. It's called the high ball. Last week against Scotland, we only caught 2. So I think everyone's looking at that thinking, okay, let's, it's plagued us all year, mate. Just catch the goddamn thing.
We're in the same boat. I don't know why. We should be better at it because we play South Africa enough. Remember, that was their one trick. They were one-trick ponies. God, aren't they going all right? Is Tony Brown still their attack coach?
Yeah,
because they are now using all 15 players.
Yeah.
That's only been in the last couple of years.
Yeah, I tell you,
they're incredible.
Yeah, they are. That's frightening. And the only thing that I keep in the back of my mind is that the World Cup's a couple of years away. I don't know whether all of those players are going to be available, whether some of them retire. They've got another 20 tests under their belt. Some of them lose a bit of form. But right now, if the World Cup was being hosted next month or whatever, they would clean it. Let's finish with the Ashes, mate, because this time when we talk next week, it's going to be the next day. It's only a week or so away. I love the fact that the Poms are under such a microscope, and Ben Stokes made some kind of comment about has-beens commenting or something, or ex-past players. He called Graham Gooch and Ian Botham saying they question the preparation. He calls them has-beens. My God, things have changed, hasn't it? You call those two guys has-beens, really, after what they've done for England cricket, mate? And it's just, but as soon as they get to Australia, this is the thing, isn't it? There's nothing they can say or do that doesn't actually get turned into a front-page headline that is somehow anti whatever it is they're trying to achieve.
Well, Beefy both of them got here, and straight away everyone wanted to comment. And one of his major comments were, we're a pack of idiots if we don't. Why didn't we have a warm-up game? Because the Australian conditions, the Australian conditions are a bit different to what we've just left in England. They've arrived over in Perth. Oh, look how early we arrived. They all arrived like last Saturday and Sunday. Oh, we've been doing a lot of net sessions. We're going to have an internal trial. Oh, they're going to cop it big time. Our problem is, and they're all going to get injured. All their bowlers are going to get injured. So they'll have maybe one good test in them. They come to Brisbane here. That's the second test. And they're going to be topping it all over the joint, mate. As long as, I say that, and Hazel yesterday, he got hurt his hammy. So even Australian bowlers these bowlers aren't as tough as they used to be. I spoke to Jeff Thompson yesterday. Remember?
Oh, I love Tomo,
remember
mate.
Jeff Thompson?
Love Tomo. Tomo and Lily, mate. What a combo.
Bowled like a javelin.
He did,
like
mate.
He was hurling
slinger.
A javelin.
Yep.
But they were clocking him, Tomo, at 162 k's an hour, I think, and they were measuring at the bowler's end. Now they measure out of at the batsman's end. Now they measure out of the bowler's hand. So he's probably bowling 170 kilometres. Anyway, I digress. But the thing is, the Gabba is green, it's spicy, and the English are in for a fair bit of hurt, and that's what we love here in Australia. God, we love beating Poms, so good luck to you guys giving them a hammering on the weekend.
Huge thank you to Novus Glass for sponsoring this episode of the DSPN and for being a proud partner of the Special Olympics New Zealand. This December, over 1,200 incredible athletes, along with hundreds of volunteers, coaches and other support staff, will be making their way to Christchurch or Tautahi for the Special Olympics New Zealand 2025 National Summer Games. Novus Glass is proud to be supporting something special, and you can help support the athletes too by texting Novus to 3598. That's Novus, Novus 3598. Thanks again, Novus Glass, for supporting us here on the DSPN. Windscreen, crack or chip, notice it, Novus it.
DSPN.